The Pandronians' shrieks of pain ripped through every comm channel as human marines tore into their scaly hides, making the alien scum regret ever setting foot on Earth without knowing the ferocity of its inhabitants. 6 months earlier, Nathan Jones had been rudely awakened from cryosleep by blaring alarms and flashing warning lights. He stumbled out of his pod on the UNSS Valiant, a state-of-the-art stealth frigate. His muscles ached from the long sleep, and his head felt like it was stuffed with cotton. He shook his head, trying to clear the fog, and saw the ship's captain, his old friend Jack Thompson, standing in front of him. Jack's face was grim, his mouth set in a hard line. Nathan's blood ran cold. He had known Jack for years, and had never seen him look so bleak. "What's the situation?" Nathan asked, his voice raspy from disuse. Jack silently handed him a tablet displaying a video feed from Earth. Nathan's eyes widened in horror as he saw massive alien ships raining destruction down on major cities, reducing them to rubble. Buildings crumbled, fires raged, and people ran screaming through the streets. "The Pandronians," Jack said, his voice tight with controlled rage. "They caught us with our pants down. We thought they were peaceful, but they played us for fools." Nathan's mind raced as he tried to process the situation. The Pandronians, a technologically advanced reptilian race, had seemed friendly when first contact was made a decade ago. Trade and cultural exchanges had been established, and there had been talk of a formal alliance. Now, their true colors were showing as they mercilessly attacked Earth's defenseless population. Nathan's fists clenched, his fingernails digging into his palms. "The fleet?" he asked, dreading the answer. "Destroyed," Jack replied, pain etched across his face. "The Pandronians hit them first with some kind of new weapon we've never seen before. The Valiant is all that's left." Nathan took a deep breath, forcing down the rage and grief that threatened to overwhelm him. Earth was under attack. Millions, maybe billions, were already dead. The fleet was gone. If they didn't find a way to stop the Pandronians, humanity was doomed. "Then it's up to us," Nathan said, his voice hardening with resolve. "We have to hit them back, find a weakness, exploit it. Make them regret ever attacking us. There has to be a way to take those scaly bastards down, and we're damn well going to find it, or die trying. Because if we fail, every human on Earth is going to die, and that's not happening on my watch." Jack and Nathan raced to the bridge, where the rest of the Valiant's elite crew had already assembled. The men looked up as they entered, grim determination etched on their faces. "Listen up," Jack barked. "Earth is under attack by the Pandronians. They've taken out the fleet and are slaughtering civilians planet-side. We're the only ones left who can stop this." Nathan stepped forward. "We have a plan. It's risky, but it's our only shot. We're going to infiltrate their flagship and take out their main weapon. That should buy Earth some time to mount a counterattack." The crew exchanged glances. They knew the odds were stacked against them, but they were ready to lay down their lives for their planet. "Mike," Nathan said, turning to the engineer, "we need that cloak up and running again. Can you do it?" Mike nodded, his jaw set. "I'll make it happen, sir. That cloak will be back online, or I'll die trying." "Dimitri, Carlos," Nathan continued, "once we're on board, we'll need you to clear a path to the weapon. Stealth and precision shooting, just like old times." The two men grinned fiercely, checking their weapons. They were in their element. As the Valiant approached the massive Pandronian ship, Nathan felt a chill run down his spine. The alien vessel dwarfed their frigate, bristling with advanced weaponry they couldn't even begin to understand. Suddenly alarms screeched as a searing beam of energy slammed into the Valiant's hull. The ship lurched violently, sparks flying from overloaded consoles. "They've made us," Jack shouted over the chaos. "Cloak is down, evasive maneuvers now." Sarah's hands flew over the controls as she sent the ship into a dizzying spiral, narrowly avoiding another barrage of enemy fire. But the hits kept coming, each one shaking the Valiant to its core. "Shields at 20%, Mike reported, his face pale. "We can't take much more of this." Nathan gripped the back of Sarah's chair, his knuckles white. Every instinct screamed at him to order a retreat, to get his people to safety, but he knew they had to press on. "We stick to the plan," he ground out. Earth won't survive if we fail. We're their last hope. Jack met his eyes, understanding passing between them. They'd been through hell together before, and they would again. For Earth, for humanity. "You heard the man," Jack roared. "All ahead full. We're punching through to that flagship no matter the cost." The crew responded with a battle cry, pouring every ounce of skill and determination into keeping the battered ship flying. They knew the next few minutes would decide the fate of their entire species. As the looming Pandronian flagship filled the view screen, Nathan sent a silent prayer up to whatever gods might be listening. Not for himself, but for the billions of lives counting on them. One way or another, this would be the defining moment of human history, and he'd be damned if he let his people down. Miraculously, the Valiant's advanced stealth systems held up as they docked with the Pandronian flagship. The alien vessel was a behemoth, dwarfing their frigate. Nathan led his team out of the airlock, weapons at the ready. They moved silently through the dimly lit corridors, the walls pulsing with an eerie organic rhythm. An acrid stench assaulted their nostrils, making them gag. As they delved deeper into the bowels of the ship, they encountered pockets of resistance. Pandronian soldiers, their scaly hides glistening in the low light, engaged them in fierce firefights. Laser blasts sizzled through the air, scorching the fleshy walls. Nathan's team fought with precision and courage, taking down the aliens with well-placed shots. "We're running out of time," Nathan whispered as they pressed forward, stepping over the fallen bodies of their foes. "We need to find that weapon and get out of here." Suddenly they stumbled upon a cavernous chamber. It was filled with rows upon rows of glowing pods, each one containing a human figure. They were unconscious, their bodies connected to a web of tubes and wires. "My God," Dmitri breathed, his eyes wide with horror. "What are they doing to them?" Nathan moved closer to one of the pods, peering at the face inside. It was a young woman, her features peaceful despite the nightmare she was trapped in. Realization dawned on him, and his stomach turned. "They're using them as some kind of organic computer," he said, his voice tight with anger, "harnessing their brain power to run their ships and weapons." Rage boiled inside him, urging him to tear the pods open and free the captives. But he forced it down, knowing they had to focus on their mission. They planted explosives around the chamber, setting the timers with grim determination. As they raced towards the main control room, a towering figure stepped out of the shadows to block their path. It was Altair, the Pandronian leader. His eyes glowed with malevolent intelligence, and his maw twisted into a cruel smile. "Foolish humans," he hissed, his voice dripping with contempt. "You think you can stop us? We have already won." Nathan stepped forward, raising his weapon. He met Altair's gaze unflinchingly, his resolve unwavering. "That's where you're wrong," he said, his voice steady. "We may be outmatched, but we have something you'll never understand, the human spirit. And that's why we'll always keep fighting, no matter the odds." With a roar of defiance, Nathan charged at the alien warlord, his team close behind. They knew this was their moment of truth, the point of no return. The fate of Earth, of all humanity, hung in the balance. And they would give everything they had to ensure their people had a future. Nathan charged at Altair, his heart pounding in his ears, as the Pandronian leader's energy weapons sizzled past, leaving scorch marks on the fleshy walls. The alien's eyes glowed with malevolent glee as he took aim again, the barrel of his gun tracking Nathan's movements. Dmitri and Carlos flanked Nathan, their own weapons spitting fire at the Pandronian soldiers who rushed to protect their leader. The air was thick with the stench of ozone and burnt flesh. Nathan ducked and rolled, narrowly avoiding another blast from Altair's weapon. He came up firing, his shots pinging off the alien's advanced armor. Altair laughed, the sound grating and cruel. "Is that the best you can do, human?" he taunted, his gun glowing as it charged up for another shot. Nathan gritted his teeth, sweat dripping into his eyes. They were losing ground, being pushed back by the relentless onslaught. His team was good, but Altair was better. Suddenly, Mike's voice crackled over the comm. "Nathan, aim for his neck!" Nathan's eyes darted to Altair's throat, spotting the small gap in the armor plating. It was a tiny target, almost impossible to hit in the chaos of battle, but it was their only chance. He lunged forward, ignoring the searing heat of a shot that grazed his shoulder. Altair's eyes widened in surprise as Nathan closed the distance between them, his gun raised. "You think you can defeat me, human?" Altair snarled, his finger tightening on the trigger. But Nathan was faster. His shot rang out, piercing through the gap in Altair's armor and severing his spinal cord. The Pandronian leader fell, his eyes wide with shock and disbelief. A hush fell over the battlefield as the Pandronian soldiers stared at their fallen leader. Then, as if a spell had been broken, they turned and fled, their will to fight extinguished. "To the reactor now!" Nathan barked, already moving. They fought their way through the remaining resistance, planting their explosives with quick, practiced movements. The ship shuddered around them, the first explosions already ripping through its hull. They raced for the extraction point, dodging falling debris and gouts of flame. The Valiant swooped in, its airlock doors slamming open. They leaped inside, the doors sealing shut behind them, just as the flagship erupted into a massive fireball. Nathan watched from the viewport as the Pandronian ship was consumed, the flames reflecting in his eyes. They had struck a blow against the invaders, but he knew this was just the beginning. The Pandronians would be back, their fury redoubled. Earth's fight for survival was far from over. As the flames of the Pandronian flagship faded into the void, a surge of hope rippled through Earth's battered defenders. News of Nathan's audacious raid spread like wildfire, igniting a fierce determination in the hearts of soldiers and civilians alike. In bases and bunkers across the planet, weary fighters looked to the stars with renewed purpose, ready to take the fight to the enemy. Under Nathan's leadership, the resistance launched a series of bold strikes against Pandronian strongholds. They hit supply depots, communication hubs, and troop transports, slowly but surely chipping away at the invaders' hold on Earth. In the smoldering ruins of a once thriving metropolis, Nathan and his team crouched behind the twisted remains of a skyscraper. Sweat poured down their faces as they watched a convoy of Pandronian tanks rumble through the shattered streets, heading towards a civilian evacuation point. "We can't let those tanks reach the convoy," Nathan said, his voice low and urgent. "Carlos, you're our best shot. Take out the lead vehicle and we'll handle the rest." Carlos nodded, his jaw set as he lined up his shot. But just as his finger tightened on the trigger, a searing blast of plasma slammed into his position, vaporizing the concrete around him. "Carlos!" Nathan screamed, lunging forward. But it was too late. The sniper's body lay still, his rifle clutched in lifeless hands. Rage and grief surged through Nathan as he turned back to the convoy, his eyes blazing with fury. He signaled to Dimitri and Mike, and together they charged forward, weapons spitting fire. In a desperate close-quarters battle, they managed to take out the tanks, but at a terrible cost. As the smoke cleared, Nathan knelt beside Carlos's body, his head bowed in anguish. "We'll make them pay," he whispered, his voice raw with emotion. "I swear it." Weeks turned into months as the war ground on, each side trading blows in a bloody stalemate. But for every Pandronian outpost they destroyed, for every enemy soldier they killed, the aliens seemed to have a dozen more to take their place. Exhausted and bloodied, Nathan and his dwindling team staged one final desperate attack on the Pandronian Central Command. They fought their way into the heart of the base, their weapons blazing, cutting down scores of the reptilian invaders. In the chaos of the battle, Dimitri was separated from the group, his comlink going silent. Nathan and Mike had no choice but to press on, fighting their way to the command center. They burst through the doors, weapons leveled at the Pandronian general. The towering alien regarded them with cold reptilian eyes, a sneer twisting his scaly features. "Surrender," Nathan demanded, his voice hard. "It's over." But the general merely laughed, a harsh, grating sound. His clawed hand moved to a glowing panel on his console. "If I am to die," he hissed, "then I will take you with me." Mike's eyes widened in horror. Self-destruct sequence! Nathan grabbed his friend, yanking him towards the exit as a harsh klaxon began to blare. They sprinted through the crumbling corridors, the ground shaking beneath their feet as explosions ripped through the base. They barely made it out before the final detonation, the shockwaves slamming into them and hurling them to the ground. Ears ringing, vision blurred, they staggered to their feet, staring at the smouldering crater that had once been the Pandronian stronghold. In the days that followed, reports flooded in from around the globe. The Pandronians were in full retreat, their forces shattered and disorganized. Humanity had won. But as Nathan stood amidst the ruins of his home, the acrid stench of smoke and death heavy in the air, he felt no joy in the victory. Earth was devastated, its cities reduced to rubble, its population ravaged, and his team, his friends, were gone, sacrificed on the altar of war. He exchanged a haunted look with Mike, the weight of all they had lost etched into the lines of his face. They had saved humanity, but at what cost? As the two soldiers walked through the ashen wasteland, they couldn't help but wonder if the scars of this war would ever truly heal. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.